Hello and welcome to another video which is bizarrely still going to try to get you top grades. So the question is, what should you be doing with your time? Maybe you're in year 10 and you've got year 11 coming up, or you're at year 11 and you're thinking, what the hell, there's no exams, what am I going to do? Or you might be in sixth form thinking, hell, the world is coming to an end. So here are some really simple solutions for you. Let's start with year 11. Today or tomorrow, the government will tell us how your predicted grades will translate into real grades. Now, my advice to most people is going to be not to worry about their exam results. Now, this is going to sound really kind of dumb after so many years of education, but from now on, your GCSEs actually don't make any difference whatsoever. If you're going on to do A-level, your GCSE result is suddenly irrelevant. Now, if you're someone who needs to get a particular grade to get in, then you probably could use this time to study. Now, I'll talk about why you should in a minute. But for most of you, you're probably going to get a grade from your teachers that's high enough for you to go on and do your A-level course. So what should you do? Start studying your A-levels now. Now, the reason I'm saying that is you've probably chosen your A-levels because they're your most interesting subjects. And you really need to start developing a passion and an interest that can see you through this period of lockdown. Well, not just that, will see you through life, because whatever you study at A-level is likely to be something that you're passionate about later, even if you never go to university. So why not explore that passion now? If you think of these extra 5 months in lockdown, and you really need to start developing a passion and an interest that can see you through this period of lockdown, well, not just that, will see you through life, because whatever you study at A-level is likely to be something that you're passionate about later, even if you never go to university. So why not explore that passion now? If you think of these extra 5 months in lockdown, you can probably learn 12 months or even 24 months, the full 2 years of your A-level course. You could probably cover that in these 5 months. You know, for example, if you're studying A-level literature, you could read all the texts within a month, and then you could read everything on the internet that's been written on them in the next month. Well, not everything, obviously, but you could become an expert. Now, the other thing about the ways that exams work is there isn't a pass mark that you've got to get to. The way that they work in our country is the opposite of a driving exam. So imagine a driving exam, you go out and the instructor's got a tick list of what you've got to pass. And if you get through the tick list, you pass. And if you don't get through the tick list, boom, you're not safe on the roads, you're going to kill somebody. But with exams, it works completely different. Yes, there's a tick list, it's called the mark scheme, but then those marks just go off, and the government says, well, we can only have a certain percentage getting A stars, a certain percentage getting A's, and we'll just give those people that top percentage those grades, B's, C's, the lot. And it doesn't matter whether you were better than last year's candidates or not who got the same grade. That's completely irrelevant to the government. What will this mean for you when you're doing A-levels in 2 and a bit years' time? It means that if you use this time now, where other people won't, let's face it, other people don't like studying, they haven't got a routine, but you're on my channel so you love being brilliant. Well, if you put in the time now, you're going to be brilliant by the time it comes to your actual A-levels. Now, the other great thing is the way that memory works. As you know, I hope from watching my channel, that studying things in big chunks doesn't lead to great memory. But if you study it in little chunks and then leave gaps and go back to it, you get a much more powerful memory. So less work now leads to more memory later. So this is like the ideal circumstance for somebody who wants to do brilliantly at A-level. Use the time to do like half an hour, whatever it is that you can fit in of a subject that you're passionate about, and do it every day. Get a routine up and just get absorbed in your A-level topics. I guarantee it will be brilliant. For some of you, you'll find that actually maybe you've made the wrong choice. Maybe one A level isn't the right one. What a cool moment to find that out. The local sixth form college that the friends of my children went to used to specialise in taking anybody on, and then loads of them would realise they'd taken the wrong course, but it was too late, and they'd end up doing a third year. So you can easily avoid that by becoming absorbed in your A-level topics now. And obviously, if you're already in year 12 or year 13, do the same. Now, for year 13, it's going to be slightly different because we will find out in the next 2 days how the final exams will work. So what we know so far is that if you're not happy with the grade that your teachers give you, you will have the opportunity to take the exam. Now, for those of you like my daughter, for example, who at the end of year 12 got BCCC, and she wanted to go to Loughborough University, which needed AAB. Well, teacher predictions would not have got her into Loughborough, and she would have had to take the final exams. And so for many of you, and I've had comments on my channel from lots of you who've been studying really, really hard, well, take the exam. If it's going to make a massive difference to your future, then you should do it, shouldn't you? So there'll be some of you watching this who are at grade 3 at the minute and desperately need a grade 4 at GCSE. Study like mad. And what's interesting is getting a grade 4 at maths, for example, does lead to significantly higher earnings over your lifetime. You know, this isn't just about getting a GCSE. If you understand maths properly, you understand interest rates, you understand mortgages, you understand phone deals, you end up saving yourself a whole heap of money over your lifetime. And better than that, you end up earning more money as well in your job. So don't think of your maths GCSE as something that's just, you know, a hurdle to be passed. It's actually a passport to a better future. And to a slightly lesser extent, the same is true of English language. So if you're at risk there, practice. Now I'm going to plug my guides here. You do not have to buy them. I hate the hard sell. But if you want to learn how to smash your English language exam, just buy my language guide or my description guide or my story guide, or if you're feeling particularly bored, get all three, or not, watch my videos. But it will be really easy for you to use some time, like an hour a day doing English language, to absolutely smash that exam, if that's what you need. Most of you can use this time to develop yourself. So let's break away from the academic for a minute and think about what it is you can do that will develop you. Well, I talked about developing a passion. Psychologists talk about a term called flow, where you become totally absorbed in something for its own sake. For those of us cooped up, it's very easy to have a decline in mental health, and the ways to improve that are twofold. One is to live in the present, live in the now, which sounds a bit weird, but what it basically means is getting absorbed in what's happening now. Don't think about the future. Don't think about what you're having for dinner tonight. Don't think about your telephone. I know you don't even call it a telephone anymore, do you? Leave that aside. Get absorbed in something. And it almost doesn't matter what that is. So you may have seen me digging the garden. I hate gardening. I loathe it with a passion, but it has to be done. And so I've spent a ridiculous amount of time learning how to dig in the most efficient fashion. Now, I'm not particularly interested in that, but I know that if I get into a state of flow, the time will fly by and I'll get better at something. Getting better at things is actually a lovely feeling, and it's how I live my life. Now, it's very easy to say live your life like me, but that's not what I mean. Psychologists tell us that getting this state of flow works. Therapists tell us that you need to develop this understanding of living in the moment. That's what meditation is about. It's about what calm is about. And it's easy to do once you decide, because it's just a mental thing, once you decide to focus on something and find the element of flow. Well, the next thing that's absolutely essential to human beings is creativity. Everybody is born creative, and many people think that schools actually ruin that. So there's this famous TED talk where the idea is that if you take a 5-year-old and ask them divergent thinking questions, so you give them a paperclip and say, right, give me as many uses as you can for a paperclip. A 5-year-old will give you like loads and loads of uses, no bother at all. And you give that to a 15-year-old and they go, well, it's a paperclip. Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to clip paper. And so the idea is the older we go through school, the less imagination we have. Well, I'm not sure if I believe that, but I do believe that imagination and creativity are just innate to human nature. It's not something that needs to be taught. And so you need to find something to be creative about. You've seen me making stupid videos just for the opportunity to create. It's not as though anyone's necessarily going to watch them, but that's not the point. The point is I get a state of flow and I'm trying to invest some time into doing something that essentially satisfies me and amuses me. I've just finished writing my guide to grammar, punctuation and spelling. Not the most exciting topic in the world. And I just put in as many jokes as I could. They're dad jokes, I'm a dad. But, it amused me for about 10 days. That's how long it took me to write the guide. Why? Because I got into a state of flow and that was my creativity. Punctuation's boring, grammar boring. I put some jokes in. And at the end of it, I've got something that I can produce and look back on. I always publish one version, stick it on my shelf, and I've got that forever. Experiment. My favourite example was Steve Jobs, who founded Apple. I'm filming this on an iPad. Thank you, Steve. And when he was at university, he did a minor, as they call it in America, a little side course on calligraphy. Like, why would you do that? Just because he wanted to do something that was creative, that satisfied him. And then he cited that as one of the main things that influenced his design of Apple products. The understanding of how calligraphy worked actually helped him achieve what was at the time revolutionary designs. Now, obviously, I'm hoping you're here because you're interested in English, and I would encourage you to write. You will never, ever regret the ability to be able to write, whether it's a short story, whether it's poetry, whether it's some sort of personal journal writing. You'll never regret it. You have an opportunity that I never had. But now there's the ability to self-publish on Amazon. I'm going to release a video on how to do that. But it's extraordinary. You can actually produce a book that is professional, that other people in the world can buy, or not. They might never buy it. But here's the thing. You can produce a book on Amazon and it costs you this much to print it. Okay, you ready? £1.70. I'm not joking. It costs you £1.70 to print your book, and then something like £2.30 to get it posted to you. But you can actually produce a book in the next few weeks or the next few months. It could be anything. You could do it on a family history. You could interview your parents about their past, or your grandparents, or get on House Party and get random people where you can interview them. You can write comedy. Whatever you want to do, you could actually turn into a book and publish. Now, it's not going to be the best because of your age, isn't it? But it will be real. It will be a lasting memento of these times. It will be something that you can look back on and show your kids, or heaven forbid, your grandkids. It will be something that's there forever. Some of you will learn to be brilliant authors over this time. That's just statistically what will happen. And then the final piece of advice is exercise. You must know by now that exercise releases endorphins, and endorphins are your body's natural high. Your body loves exercise. It craves exercise. In fact, modern living is the worst kind of attack on the body that probably there's ever been. Do you know, I'm not a morning person. But actually, that was just a myth I obviously told myself. It was just a habit that I'd got into. Now I go down into the basement. I'm still reading the paper on my iPad. and I do 40 minutes of cycling, no bother at all. And like, why does my body accept that? Endorphins, routine, the state of flow, where I'm just absorbed in the newspaper. And then obviously, although you won't need me to tell you this, social contact. You can house party away, you can WhatsApp, you can Zoom, you can text, FaceTime, whatever. It's so easy for you to keep in touch with people, and don't underestimate the power of doing that. I mean, obviously you're doing it anyway all the time, I suspect, so this isn't advice that you need, but I'm just saying to you, don't see that as like a waste of time. It's actually really powerful. It will make you feel much better. And so off you go, find some flow. See you soon on my channel. So good luck. Hopefully see you soon on my channel, although not literally because I can't see through, but you can comment below. So thank you very much for watching. So thank you very much